Austin police have identified a 17-year-old boy who was killed by a package bomb Monday, as authorities say national resources from the FBI and ATF are being brought in on the case of a string of explosions that are believed linked. 2 people have been killed in the package bombs in Austin, and 2 others have been injured, including a 75-year-old Hispanic woman who remains in critical condition. The 17-year-old killed in an explosion Monday has been identified as Tarleton Mason. His mother was also wounded and is in stable condition. Now that national authorities have been called in, what are they looking for? Here with some insight, anti-terror expert Alex Carmen, head of the School of Criminology, Criminal Justice, and Strategic Studies at Tarleton State University in Fort Worth. Alex, what is it that authorities are looking for?
You know, they're going through the explosive devices, I'm sure, and they're going to try to figure out what the DNA, as we call it in the law enforcement community, what the signature looks like. In other words, what did this person leave behind in the context of a trace that would allow for law enforcement to be able to identify, you know, who this person is, right? So they're going to go through that. They're also going to be able to talk to people that may have seen something, may have heard something. They're going to try to put some sort of a timing as to when the packages were left, how the packages were sent, and even the type of explosives that were used are going to be a clue as to who this person likely is.
When you look at the actual explosive device, can investigators get a good sense of whether this person is rather amateur or more of a, I don't know, quote, professional person who's planting bombs?
Absolutely. And not only that, they're going to be looking at what ingredients were used, how the explosives were detonated, how it was activated, how the bomb was armed. A lot of things are going to leave the investigators with the understanding that this person may have had some sort of a paramilitary training, perhaps, may have been in our military, may have been trained overseas in a foreign military. And so all of those things are going to be cues and clues for them to be able to sort of piece it together. And I'm sure there are a lot of people in Quantico right now in the Behavioral Sciences Unit of the FBI trying to put it all together from a behavioral perspective. Does this person live in Austin? Is this person renting an apartment? Is this person alone? Is it a male? What is the age range? I mean, all of those questions are often answered by people that really know what they're doing and have been doing it for a long time.
Alex, do you know of any cases that are similar to this, maybe in the United States, where people have left packages that were bombs at people's homes?
I mean, we've seen that, right, from time to time in our history, you know, perhaps not as frequent as we have here in Austin, but we have seen that. And, of course, you know, what comes to mind for most of us criminologists is the Unabomber, you know, where obviously, you know, in his case, you know, he had an ideology. He was very much opposed to a certain type of technology. He even required, as you may recall, that his manifesto be released in a national newspaper. Oftentimes what we find in these cases is that the person that is behind this type of operation is somebody who is very bright, someone who is incredibly skilled, someone who is very disciplined, that will not go to social media to portray what they're doing, and also somebody that has an ideology. That's very, very important. I mean, these folks want to let other people know why they're angry. And in this case, it seems like because the victims are minorities, that perhaps there's some sort of a racial motive behind that. And, of course, we're going to have to confirm that once the investigation continues.
We're speaking with anti-terror expert Alex Carmen. Alex, you mentioned, you know, the bomber possibly being a male. Isn't it generally a male? And is there a profile of someone in a certain age category, you know, someone who's a loner, someone who is white? What is the profile of a typical bomber, if there is such a thing?
Well, you know, we don't really, you know, come up with profiles based on the type of crime, but what leads to the profile is the way that the crime was committed, right? So in this case, we have packages being left in people's homes. When the person picks up the package or opens it up, it immediately detonates. We know that so far authorities have shared with us that you know, this is a very sophisticated type of individual. So if we were to put all of that together with little information that we know in the public, not necessarily what law enforcement knows, I would probably argue that this person is likely a male, that is likely a loner, that is likely somebody that is following some sort of an ideology. Somebody that wants to let the world know that he's in control, he is in charge of what the next move is going to be. So I would not put it past this person that more attacks will be coming in the near or distant future.
I was going to ask, Alex, is there such a thing as a serial bomber?
Absolutely, absolutely, and just like we have serial killers, right? In the traditional sense, we do have serial bombers that are people that aim at terrorizing the rest of the population. I mean, think of it these days, where most of us get a package or two during the week because we're so busy. We have pretty much a lot of things delivered, and imagine the terror that people will feel now in the Austin area.
Thanks, Alex. Anti-terror expert Alex Del Carmen.